Do you know what you really want? If you do, you are among a select few. As a coach, I work with a lot of people and I get a lot of people telling me, I don't know what I want. How do I figure out more of what I want? How do I become more clear on that? So in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 things you can do to figure out what you do want, and stick around because at the end, I'm gonna give you some additional prompts and questions that I use with myself and my own personal clients that are especially effective. Let's dive in. 1. The first one. It's what I would call brain dump and investigate. I find that a lot of times we have more of a sense for what we like and what we don't like than we think that we do. But the issue is that we can only hold so much in our brain at one time. The opportunity with this first one is actually to just do a brain dump, literally get out everything that you think about everything onto one place so that you can start to look for patterns and trends. An easy way to do this could be opening a Word document or something like Evernote or OneNote and listing out a couple of different sections. You could do things that I know that I like, things I think I'm interested in, things that I know that I don't like, and just write down as many things as humanly possible. Don't stop yourself. Don't think about, does this make sense? Is this how I should be doing this? Don't question it. Just write it down. And what you'll start to notice is as the list grows, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll start to pick up on, here are things that I say over and over again. And so I can say with relative assurance that this is something that I do in fact enjoy. Bonus points if you keep this on something like I mentioned, an Evernote or a OneNote, because it becomes a living document. It becomes something that you can then continue to come back to and add to. Number 2, pretty closely related to the first one. But instead of doing a brain dump, this is actually an ongoing practice, and I would call it notice, notice, notice. Part of what has us not knowing what we want is because we're not paying sufficient attention. We're not paying enough attention. And if you actually looked and noticed how you spent your time and where your energy went over the course of a week, you could probably tell pretty quickly the things that light you up, the things that you get excited about, the articles that you write, the YouTube videos that you watch. And so my offering, the thing that I would encourage you to do is actually create some sort of tracking system. Maybe it's a Post-it note that sits directly next to your computer, and it literally just says things that I'm excited about. And every time that you're on something, on a website, on an article, on a YouTube video, somebody texts you about something, you get excited about it, write it down. Continue to add it to the list. The intention of this practice is to make noticing what you want, what gets you excited, more of a conscious effort. And if you keep it as a living document, it'll become very clear very quickly what you're excited about, what you like, what you want more of. 3, ask other people. It's really easy when we're trying to think about ourselves, our lives, our desires holistically to have blind spots, to get caught in our blind spots. And so the value of using other people is we can get reflections, we can get commentary, we can get insight from them that we might ourselves not be able to see. And this could literally be as simple as texting people. I've done this a bunch of times. Text a couple people in your network or email them and say something along the lines of, I'm doing a self-evaluation exercise. What are the topics and things that you notice that I get particularly excited talking about? The last couple of times that I did this, I got some insight and some feedback from people that sort of surprised me, which was a great thing because they were dead on, they were spot on, but it wasn't something that I myself could see. So those are the 3 things. First, brain dump and investigate. Look at what you already know. Second is turn noticing into more of a practice. So start to pay attention to more of it, keep track of it. And then third is ask other people. So get insight from other people who are outside your brain and who don't have your blind spots. And so like I mentioned, as an added bonus, I wanted to share a couple journal prompts with you that I find are particularly effective in this arena, help people get clearer on what it is they actually want. So I have 2 prompts, and I'm going to stick them in the comments below. The first is, imagine that it is a year from now, this date, 2022. Imagine that you got everything that you wanted over the course of the next year in your business, in your career, in your relationships, in your home environment, in your money. What does that look like? What's your day-to-day experience a year from now look like? What results have you created? How different is your life? With your answer, notice how broadly or how narrowly you let yourself think and dream. The second is imagine somebody were to give you $20,000 a month, free of charge. You don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. Somebody just gives you $20,000. What would you be doing? on a day-to-day basis. I find that one's particularly useful for helping us step outside of the, well, does it make money or not make money conversation, and really just simply look at what excites us, what do we want to create more of. The last prompt that I have for you is partly a prompt and also partly commentary, because the thing that I find when it comes to getting clear on what you want to create for yourself is that often it has less to do with distinguishing our desires. That is important, getting clear and articulating down on paper, what do I want to create and how do I want it to look? But if you think about it, you've had an entire lifetime of deciding inside of experiences, do I like this or do I not like this? Do I want more of this or do I not want more of this? And so I find that in this conversation around what I want, it has less to do with articulating and naming and more to do with our relationship with our desires, our relationship with the things that we want to create in our lives. And I find that most of us have a pretty wonky relationship with our desire because it's not something that we were ever really taught to cultivate. It's not something that we were ever invited to focus on or make decisions from. Usually when we make decisions, it's based on what's smart or what's intelligent or what's stable and not from our deepest desires and what we want to create for ourselves. So for example, if you got really excited about art and there was a part of you that wanted to leave and start a business based around your art, but you didn't think you were good enough, you didn't think that was viable, you thought people might judge you, that has more to do with you not knowing what you want than you being able to articulate or name it. Hope that was supportive. Would love to hear in the comments how it went. If you want to stay up to date on videos like this when I post them, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And regardless, I will see you next time.